Hello and welcome to your weekly horoscope forecast for week commencing the 2nd of May. As this week begins, Venus, the planet of grace, of charm, of aesthetics, of fashion, but also of relating and of course of money, moves into the first zodiac sign of Aries. If you have been going through some soul searching around a relationship issue recently, this could bring you more into the present, especially if there has been, unfortunately, a separation in your situation. But Venus also moves into an immediate, sparkling alliance with Mercury in one of its two home zones of Gemini. Now this can lead to some flirtatious text winging around. It could also bring a greater sense of enthusiasm to the social scene. Of course, the Sun does continue alongside Uranus in Taurus, which is very much to do with our resources. But Uranus is asking us through the Sun to be as open-minded as possible, to not hold on to things that no longer serve our greater purpose. And in some ways that might be some of the things we've taken for granted a little bit because the cost of living has gone up so much. We might find actually that some of the things we thought were so essential we can let go, and because the two of them are forging such a very powerful and energizing link to the planet of drive, Mars, we can dig deep from within ourselves to find ways in which we can reorder things. Some of that sparkle that Venus and Mercury are going to bring, despite the fact that Venus is technically in its detriment in Aries, could be enjoying the interaction, the personal interaction, and that doesn't really cost anything at all. Now also, there is by Sunday a quarter moon in the sign of Leo. This sees the Sun in the 2nd, the Moon in the 5th, which just cautions us not to be too free and easy with our resources. But also, if there is somebody that we're rather fond of, perhaps they've become rather too used to us indulging them. And this could be a good moment to actually just reinforce our boundaries somewhat. But Jupiter, the planet of fortune, is forging a very powerful alliance to Pluto, the planet of transformation, that goes on all through this week. People who have this in their natal horoscopes are often very lucky and often make quite good progress in life in a material context. But of course, Jupiter in the sign of Pisces can be more of a spiritual dimension, but something can change or evolve in a way which pleases us through that particular influence. Also, Saturn in Aquarius is forging a semi-sextile to Neptune. Some of the things that we might think are very important to our structure of our lives, we might be able to let go of some of those with Neptune's help. But of course Neptune can erode structures in a less positive way, but I don't think that will be the case. I think again we can realise that some of the things that we think or thought were so important are not quite as important as they actually seem to be in the past. Now, if you would like to ascend above this Zodiac broadcast, if you give me 3 pieces of personal information, I can give you a roadmap that can guide the rest of your life. A natal analysis is so incredibly insightful, but also with this, with my special offer, you can also get a 12-month forecast, and the two working together, and I give you 30% off, can really be so very meaningful in terms of tapping your potential, avoiding pitfalls, and making the right moves at the right time. Please see the link below this video for more. Finally, if you are new to my channel, before I give you your Zodiac forecast, if you would be so good to subscribe, I'd be really grateful. I'm racing towards 100,000 subs. It's taken a bit longer than it should have done because of all my health issues, but your support is greatly appreciated. Hello Taurus and welcome to your weekly horoscope for week commencing the 2nd of May. Your ruler Venus moves on the 1st day this week into your 12th solar house. Because you've had such a glorious array of energy in the 11th house of friendship and sociability, I think it's possible that Venus is just seeing you, or will see you, thinking much more about the value of the associations you've got. So it's not so much the quantity, it's more about the quality. And for some Taurus people, if you can't see a long-term future with someone, you may start to rethink whether this involvement really does have the longevity that you'd really like. Now, though that may be a tough thing to consider, if it actually protects you from giving even more of yourself to someone who's not worthy of you, then maybe this is something you have to take really seriously. But for some other bulls, Venus moving into your 12th house, especially if you're single, may see you feel quite nostalgic for the past. Maybe someone you used to be involved with will come up in your thinking. It's not necessarily the case that they're the one that got away. It's more, what did you learn from that situation that you would do differently in future? So you may find yourself just a little bit more reflective when it comes to your romantic situation, or even your financial situation too, because with the Sun binding with Uranus in your sign, you're in the mood to be very enterprising, try different things out, and with Mars really spurring you on to think long term but to be decisive, then this is a time when you can challenge that archetype of your sign, that you like to stick strictly to what you know, you like to be very rooted to familiarity. I think that has, for a lot of Taurus people, been challenged big time in recent years by Uranus and by that collective that's been in the sign of Capricorn. And of course that's happening again this week, because Jupiter, the planet of optimism, forges a super link with Pluto, the planet of change, in your 9th house. That could see you embracing new ways of looking at life, new information. It could be from being on a course. It could be from a collective or group of people that you find inspirational. But I think what you're looking for in terms of your connections, more than anything else, is sincerity and meaningfulness. But in terms of your own individual talents, I think you're still wanting to really push the envelope and just test yourself out. But that's a really good thing to do.